Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Nahmaduhu wa nasta'inuhu wa nastaghfiruh. Wa na'udzu billahi min shururi anfusina wa min sayyiati a'malina. Man yahdihillahu fala mudilla lahu wa man yudlilhu fala hadiya lahu. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la syarika lahu. وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم وبارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي أما بعد. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful, all praise be to Allah. We praise Him, we ask for His help, we ask for His forgiveness, we fish with Allah for the wickedness of ourselves and for the badness of our deeds. Whoever been given by Allah guidance, there not be misguided for him. Whoever been misguided by Allah, then nobody can be a guide for him. I bear witness, there's no God worthy to worship except Allah, only Him, no associate for Him. And I bear witness that Muhammad, His messenger, His servant. O Allah, give good praise upon Muhammad and the family of Muhammad. Give good praise upon Abraham and the family of Abraham. O Allah, bless upon Muhammad and the family of Muhammad. Have blessed upon Abraham and the family of Abraham. Really, you are most worthy of praises and most exalted in glory. Today, inshallah, we continue. For the last time, last week, Sheikh. Okay. Anyway, the last time we stopped, say for those who have the book, page numbers, the new one will be 69 and 96. 96, last paragraph. Those who have the old one would be where you stop. No. Putri, the place you stop is actually correct. The PDF that she have is actually the old one, the old version. Tadi betul tadi. The last page that you stop is actually correct. Why did you change? Okay, because there's two version, two set of copy. The new copy is actually the one that we have here. Will be page 96. Down. Page down. No, before that. 94. They put 91. Then the old one is 91. Go to 91. The new one is actually 96. Page 96. Yeah. No. More. Okay. Okay. That paragraph. 1, 2, 3, 4. No. The last. That paragraph. Inshallah. Okay, so those who have the version that old version one is actually 91, is it? So the new one will be 96. Okay, it's actually talking about the bliss of the prophet's companion, because when we actually topic about the art of happiness, so they took the author took an opportunity to look into the companion of the Prophet ﷺ, even though all the trials being done unto them, the atonement from the disbelievers, and they have to sacrifice many things, but they are still happy. They are happy with their life. That is actually the what we want to know about them. So that is the topic about the bliss of the companion of the Prophet. So then we did say about that they actually from the start believe that the Prophet SAW is really the messenger of Allah. Even though, like we said, the people of Mecca and people of Medina, they have the different situation. For people in Mecca, they see the Prophet from his childhood. From his childhood. So they know his character, they know his truth in saying and in doing. So they don't have any problem to believe the Prophet is really the messenger of Allah. Muhammad is the messenger of Allah. But people like in Medina, like we said before, they actually know the Prophet through the saying or the telling from the Jew around Medina. Because the people of Jew around Medina, they actually did mention about the Prophet to their friend and their allies from among the Ansar, the Aus and the Khazraj. They have allies with alliance with the Jew, Bani Quraizah, Bani Nadir. So within that situation, they pick up an information, few information or many information about the Prophet until in the end, like Allah Ta'ala said in the Quran in Surah Al-Baqarah, verse number 146, Alladina atainahumul kitab, those who have been given by Allah scriptures, ya'rifunahu kama ya'rifuna abna'ahum. They knew him, knew Muhammad as they knew their own child, their own children. So parents do know their children. Even actually, surprisingly, even when you want to buy clothes, but the father cannot. The mother always can. They just go to the supermarket and just hold a t-shirt or clothes, and they know that this is for my child. They know the size. Even separated. When my sister sent her son to Yemen, so they separated around 3 or 4 years. So when they send the clothes for the son, it's actually really fit on. That is actually what we said, the parent knew their children. So the people of the book knew about the Prophet more than they know, as they know their own children. So that's essentially that what is starting for the people of Medina to know the Prophet ﷺ. So they willingly embrace Islam and ask the Prophet to come to them. Something actually, when you have the belief, so the happiness will be there. You sacrifice, you give away, you know that you get something from Allah after that, in the afterlife. So we'll be happy. The thing is that when a person doesn't really know, I think I will get, I don't know I will get. So you will not be happy. You will do a donation, and sometime after that you feel regret. Like one of my friend, actually his mother-in-law have a problem. The land around the house of his mother-in-law actually collapsed. So a big hole was there. So he actually just give 3,000 ringgit, that think about just helping. But after that, he regret. He said, why did I do that? So he came to me. He came to me and said, why did I feel like that? I said that Allah Ta'ala already promised you, وَمَا أَنْفَقْتُم مِّن شَيْءٍ فَهُوَ يُخْلِفُهُ. Whatever you spend on good doing, Allah Ta'ala will give you the substitute, will pay you back. Just wait. I say, because the shaitan, you already know that Allah Ta'ala is most promising. When we promise, He will do what He's promised for you. So just wait. And suddenly after 3 days actually, they said that after 2 days, Allah Ta'ala returned back the 3,000 and more for him. So sometimes to believe will make you happy. You give away, you're happy. You know that you will get the love of Allah because you're following the command from Him. Okay. So because of that, all the endurance, all that the thing that they endure, for the torment, being, like we said, being dragged on the hot sand and desert, and some were imprisoned, and others were subjected to inventive and innovation way of punishment, like the family of Yasir. That the word in Malay, the word sula. They put stick from the bottom. That is being done by the people of Mecca upon the family of Yasir. Ammar bin Yasir, his father and his father been killed like that. So, new invention of torment. It's not being known before. But suddenly when we look into the Malay movie, Semirah Padi, the thing is there. But in Islam, is no such thing, no such punishment. Either you chop off the head, or you cut the hand, your lashes, is there on physical. But suddenly come up with something that's solar, they will be hanging and they will put the stick from the bottom. There's no such thing in Islam. But people say that that is Islamic way. No, that the movie was directed by a non-Muslim Hindu. That's why even the lashes is actually so wrong, so big. You will be lashed 100 lashes. After the lash, you will die. Actually, the lashes in Islam is only just this size. Is permissible, and also you cannot hit like that. You must hit just like that, and over all the body, not one spot only, because they fear that the skin will be torn off if you lash just one place. Even the clothes is still there on. You didn't take off the clothes of the person that will be lashed. So anyway, that the story about the thing, the innovative way of punishment, all which these believers inflicted upon them, having to endure all of that, they still love him unreservedly with heart and soul. Okay, so that is the last paragraph we talked about last time. So he say here, our class today, they were deprived from home, country, and family and wealth. This is talking about the people of Mecca, the Muhajirin, being sent away from their own home, their country, their family, being separated. They were even being chased off of their land. If you know about the story of Hijrah, the story of Hijrah, that happened after 13 years, the Prophet ﷺ made his duty as a prophet, as a messenger, after receiving 13 years. So Allah Ta'ala give permission for him to go away. He himself, he said he doesn't want to go. He loved Mecca so much. But because of the situation at that time, will not make any benefit for Islam. So and Allah Ta'ala already predestined that he must migrate from Mecca to Medina. And during the migration that happened in the 30th year of the prophethood, the Prophet ﷺ and his companion being given the permission, and they went out during the month of Haram. Month of Haram. Now we are actually still inside the month of Haram, Rajab. The month of Haram that Prophet ﷺ went out with his companion is Muharram, or end of after the Hajj, Zulhijjah and Muharram, 2 months. The Prophet himself just went out from Mecca, and after all his companion already went out, he actually migrated the end of Safar, not in the month of Haram. That is why the Mushrikin, the disbelievers, is chasing him. During the month of Zulhijjah and Muharram, they cannot touch anybody. That is the thing about the uniqueness of those Arabs. Even though they are worshipping other than Allah, and they actually have idols, but the month of Haram that related to the Hajj, they respect it. Anybody coming, even the tribes is the enemy of the Quraysh, they must let them come in during the Hajj. So 3 months, Zulqa'dah, Zulhijjah and Muharram. On those months, nobody will be touched. Nobody will be stopped from coming to Mecca or going out from Mecca. So that is the time when the Prophet ﷺ, because the people of Medina met the Prophet, or give the second oath, promise to the Prophet during Zulhijjah. During Zulhijjah, they met him and they said, come to Medina. So after the Hajj, so they start going back to Medina. So the Prophet ﷺ, his companion, is being given permission to go out. That is why the first month of Hijri is Muharram. because that is the first month after Zulhijjah. After the people from Medina that came to Mecca to do the Hajj, even during the time of before we do it not the correct way, they are going back during the end of Zulhijjah, and the people of Mecca start to migrate on Muharram. Still, they will not be touched actually. Nobody will touch them because the month of Haram, all the people of Mecca, even the idol worshipper, they respect it, respect the month. So that's the thing. So the companion of Prophet being sent away from their family, even from their family. The family send them away, not the people there. Even their family is sending them away. Don't want them to come back. Even their wealth. If you can see the story of Mus'ab bin Umair. Mus'ab bin Umair, the first caller to Islam that the Prophet ﷺ sent to call people in Medina to embrace Islam. That is actually after the Bay'atul Aqabah, the first one. After the first Bay'atul Aqabah, 12 people from the two tribes came to the Prophet, give promise. Then the Prophet sent to them Mus'ab bin Umair. He was 16 years old. 16 years old. And calling people to Islam. By the time the Prophet is waiting in Mecca, and after that, they come back with 70 plus people, give oath, and after that, the migration. So that is actually the Mus'ab bin Umair. If you look into his story, he's very wealthy person from his wealthy family. But when he embraced Islam, his parents said to him that if you embrace Islam, give back all the thing that we gave you. You have to return everything. So he returned everything and came to the Prophet with undergarment only. Nothing on his body except undergarment. Even though he was known as most rich person in one of the rich son of or the child of wealthiest people in Mecca, Mus'ab bin Umair. So anyway, they were driven out from the playing field of their childhood and from the homes in which they were raised. Despite all of this suffering, they left him unequivocally. Even though they cannot go back to their home in Mecca, they're still loving the Prophet and comparable to anything. That's the thing. Like we said, because of the belief that they have. The belief that they have making them to having all the suffering but still happy and still loving the Prophet. The believers faced trial because of his message. The very ground under them was shaken violently, and yet their love for him continued to grow. Because actually the Prophet ﷺ, when you look into it, he is actually become enmity among him is not because of the telling of praying, fasting. No. It's really about the message of Tawheed. The message of La ilaha illallah. Because when the Prophet ﷺ first received the revelation from Archangel Gabriel in the cave of Hira, when he went down in situation that he said he's really scared what happened to him, his wife took him to meet with her cousin Waraqah bin Nawfal. Waraqah bin Nawfal is the cousin of Khadijah. Some people say that see the Prophet Muhammad SAW taking all the story of the people of the book from Waraqah bin Nawfal. So he knew about everything from Waraqah bin Nawfal. The problem is Waraqah bin Nawfal is the only Christian among the Quraysh. Nobody follow him. Because before the Prophet ﷺ being sent, being raised by Allah, the people of Mecca, there are 3 persons that go against the worshipping of idol. One is Waraqah bin Nawfal, who ran away and go into Christianity. Second one is Al-Qis bin Sa'idah al-Iyadi, who went into Judaism. And the last one, Zaid bin Amr bin Nufail. He doesn't go to Judaism, not to Christianity, but he said he want to be in the religion of Abraham, but he died before he can pledge his belief to the Prophet ﷺ. He was alive with the Prophet before the Prophet being given by Allah the prophethood. So he was there, Zaid bin Amr Nufail. So those three people is known before the Prophet ﷺ came. Those people doesn't agree with the people of Mecca to worship idols. So even Waraqah bin Nawfal. Waraqah bin Nawfal is actually the cousin of Khadijah. Khadijah binti Khuwailid bin Asad bin Abdul Uzza bin Qusay. Waraqah bin Nawfal bin Asad bin Abdul Uzza bin Qusay. Actually from the lineage, they are actually just cousin, because Khuwailid is the brother of Nawfal. Nawfal and Khuwailid is brother. So Khadijah with Waraqah is actually cousin. So when the Prophet ﷺ told him what he saw inside the cave, Waraqah bin Nawfal just quickly answered that is the angel that being sent to Moses. Directly he said, that is the angel being sent down to Moses. And the Waraqah bin Nawfal said, Ya laytani kuntu hayyan ansurka nasra mu'azzara. Laytani kuntu, if only I am actually really strong, I will help you when your time come. I wish that I am alive when your people send you away. The Prophet ﷺ is really shocked, because the first revelation is just 5 verse of Surah Al-Alaq. Nothing there is actually relating to taking power, to the political matter of the people, to take away their religion. No, nothing. 5 ayah. Iqra' bismi rabbikal ladzi khalaq. Read, O Muhammad, in the name of your Lord that is actually who create. Khalaqal insana min alaq, that created human from a lump of blood, blood clot. Iqra' wa rabbukal akram. Read, and your Lord is the most noble. Alladhi 'allama bil qalam, that he taught with the pen. 'Allamal insana ma lam ya'lam, that taught people whatever they don't know. So 5 verse. Then Waraqah bin Nawfal said to him that I wish that I am alive, that when your people send you away. So the Prophet said, Aw mukhrijiyahum, they will send me away. Why should just 5 verse and I will be sent away by my people? So Waraqah bin Nawfal said, Lam ya'ti rajulun, never ever came any man bimithli ma ji'ta bihi, as what you coming to your people, the same thing that being brought. Never ever a man came to his people like you came to your people. Illa udiya, except his people will make him an enemy. People will be enemy out of that. It's the message. It's not about the teaching. The first message is La ilaha illallah. The Prophet doesn't ever they really, because the Arabs on at that time, they still think about truthful, actually sincerity, bravery, all of it is actually look up for them point. They look up at that attributes. They even the Prophet ﷺ being called Al-Amin, the most trustworthy. They really love the Prophet because of that character. But when the Prophet said, I am messenger of Allah, they cannot accept that. That's the thing. Or they said, La ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah. Like being said in Surah As-Sad, verse number 5. The people of Mecca did say, Aja'al al-alihata ilahan wahida. Do he want to make all the gods that we have just one God? Inna hadha la shay'un ujab. This is actually really weird, really strange for him to ask us to make only one God, even though we have actually every tribe have their own God. So how can he want us to worship only one God? That is the thing that really become the problem. The message that being said, the Prophet give them. The very ground of them was shaken violently, because people actually become enemy. Whoever become enemy of the Quraysh become enemy of the all Arabs. All Arabs will essentially become enemy for them. Yet their love for him continue to grow. The best among their youth constantly had sword hanging menacingly over their head. Over their head. The youth. Actually, when you look into it, when the Prophet ﷺ was calling into Islam, at that time, the Prophet ﷺ was 40. So Umar ibn Khattab was actually in the early 20. Only because of the character we heard about him, you thought he's actually already 50. It's actually youngsters. All the Prophet ﷺ around him are youngsters. They actually really, the youth, not old people. Abu Bakr is actually quite near to him because the Prophet ﷺ, when he died, he was 63. Abu Bakr died also 63. And Abu Bakr is actually just 2 years apart from the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Abu Bakr is actually, because he hold the position as the ruler of Islam after the Prophet around 2 years. The Prophet died 11th on 63 years old, and Abu Bakr died 2 years after that, year 13 of Hijrah, on his age, 63 years old. Umar ibn Khattab also come to that age, but after 10 years. After 10 years. After 10 years. So the same Uthman, Ali, all of them actually so youngsters at that time. So because of what happened, they actually constantly hanging the sword menacingly over their head. But the problem is when they are in Mecca, no such thing is happened because they are not allowed to fight back. During Mecca time, the companion of the Prophet ﷺ did not fight back. They did not be allowed to do the war upon the disbelievers that they are doing something to them. Only after migration to Medina, 2 years after migration, then the war actually become prescribed by Allah for them. Only 2 years after Hijrah. That's during the war of Badr. Before that, in Mecca, you can say 15 years of prophethood, the Prophet didn't lift up any sword to fight back to his people. So you have to know that when you said about this, maybe it's because when they are in Medina, they are always carrying their sword because the people will attack them anytime. Even the Prophet ﷺ did have a personal bodyguard. Before Allah sent down to him the one verse in the Quran, they're making him to stop his companion from protecting him. Allah said, Surah Al-Ma'idah verse number 67. Before that ayah being sent down to the Prophet ﷺ, the Prophet have personal bodyguard. Even if he was sleeping, people is actually circulating around his house, protecting him. But after this, the Allah sent down that ayah, verse number 67, Surah Al-Ma'idah, Allah said, Ya ayyuhar rasul, or messenger, messenger, balligh ma unzila ilayka min rabbik. Convey, teach, recite whatever being sent down to you from your God. Wa illam taf'al, if you don't do it, if you just lefting out some of it, because you're afraid people will say something, you left out something, fama ballaghta risalatah, then you will consider as didn't convey the message. This ayah, one part is when talking about the protection from Allah to the Prophet. The first part is actually to deny anybody say that I have a teaching that the Prophet make it secret for my family only. That is actually so false because of that ayah. Because if the Prophet did do something like that, means that didn't give away all the thing, all the revelation, all the ayah, the verse that Allah Ta'ala sent to him, he's kept some of it for him, then Allah Ta'ala consider him didn't finish his work. Fama ballaghta risalatah. You are considered not conveying the message of Allah. If you left out just one ayah. Even Aisha has said, about this ayah. She said that if the Prophet really want to kept some of the ayah, the Prophet will kept the ayah of Abasa wa Tawalla. You know, when Allah Ta'ala scold him about doing something like that to the blind person, Abdullah ibn Maktum, Abasa wa Tawalla anja ahul a'ma. He actually accidentally doing that. He doesn't want to do that, but he was actually talking to the leaders of chief of the Quraysh, and they start to give attention to him. Suddenly, this guy, Abdullah ibn Maktum, a blind guy, came and shake the body of the Prophet. You know that the blind people. Alimni ma'alamakallah. Teach me whatever Allah Ta'ala taught you. Teach me whatever Allah Ta'ala taught you. The Prophet just, the person doesn't saw the face. His face is not being seen by that person. But Allah Ta'ala scold him. So Aisha said, if Allah Ta'ala, if the Prophet want to hold any ayah, this ayah, he will stop it. Or the ayah of Surah Tahrim. Surah Tahrim was number 1. Allah Ta'ala said, Ya ayuhar Rasul, Ya ayuhan Nabi, O Prophet of Allah, O Prophet, Lima tuharrimu ma ahallallahu lak. Why did you forbid things that Allah Ta'ala permissible for you? Because the story is actually the wives of the Prophet conspire upon him when he actually liked to go to a house of one of his wife, because the wife have honey, and the Prophet liked to drink honey. The way he drink honey is actually he will mix the water, honey into the water and drink. Then drink the water, the honey water. Even though actually after Asar prayer, he will go to that wife house. So the other wives actually start to feel jealous about that. So they conspire. They, not one, they conspire. If the Prophet came to them, just say that, oh Prophet Allah, why is your mouth have some sort of smell? So continuously they do that until the last time the Prophet said, I forbid myself from the honey. I will not drink the honey anymore. So Allah Ta'ala scold him by telling him, Ya Yuhan Nabi, O Prophet, O Prophet, Lima tuharrimu ma ahallallahu lak. Why did you forbid something that Allah Ta'ala give permission for you, means permissible for you to eat, to drink? Tabtaghi mardata azwajik, are you seeking the please of the please of your wife? You want to please your wife, you do that. Thing that is actually permissible for you, you want to forbid it. So the Aisha said, if he want to keep any ayah, this ayah he will keep it. And the other one is from the Surah Al-Ahzab about the marriage of Zainab binti Jahsh. Ahzab 37. When Allah Ta'ala said to the Prophet ﷺ about he will be marrying Zainab. When Zaid bin Haritha, his adopted son, came to him, he was married to Zainab binti Jahsh. Zainab binti Jahsh is actually the Prophet auntie's daughter. Means among the sister of his father's sister daughter. So actually the equivalent with him. Yes, cousin of Prophet. Yeah, it's cousin of the Prophet. So when they get married, by the command by the Prophet ﷺ to Zaid to marry Zainab. But their marriage is so crumble. This is one of the thing that when I asked my teacher, my sheikh in Yemen, I said, when we learn about the marriage ruling in Islam, munakahat, I said, why did the scholars, why are the scholars still talking about the equivalent of statue between the husband and wife? Sukufu must be equivalent. They must be equivalent. It means that if the man, the man from the high society people, the woman must be also. And if the other side also the same. I said because we know that when we learn Islam truly, you don't look into the ranking or the status of a person. Why should we talk about that? Because that is actually related to the story of Zainab and Zaid. Zainab bin Jahsh and Zaid bin Harithah. One is actually a servant being freed by the Prophet, become his adopted son. Even so, people still looking him at as a servant, freed servant by the Prophet. No, actually at that time, that ayah is actually from the Surah Al-Ahzab, verse number 50. It's related to the Prophet ﷺ being given permission. He can marry all women that he wants. And he can marry his cousin without the akad. Anybody from them, from his cousin, from the female cousin, from his uncle or his auntie, daughters, he can just take it as his wife without any akad, without any. You don't have to call anybody. Number 50 of Surah Al-Ahzab. With that ayah, this didn't say about the first cousin. You know that in Islam, marrying cousin is not forbid. Nothing there. Nothing. There's no problem about marrying. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. No. There's no. Only I know about the people in northern states like Kedah, Perlis, and there. They are treating the cousin like their own brother and sister. You know, the first cousin. They said that this is my first cousin. He said, I don't marry my cousin. Some people say something like that. But in Islam, it never ever become problem about that. They never ever wrong. It's not a wrong thing. You know? Yeah, father. The father of me and my father of my cousin is a brother. It's actually, there's no problem about that. I only know recently, because I watched some of the Tamil movies, that in the southern area of India and some people in Malaysia are doing that. That if the uncle, your uncle, the woman have an uncle. If the uncle is from his mother's brother, means among the brother of the mother, they can marry. They can marry. It's allowed. I went into one Grab car. Actually, the driver is an Indian person, actually Hindus. So I asked him about that. He actually want to answer me, but have a reluctant to answer. But in the end, he said that some places in India are still doing that. I said in Malaysia, he cannot answer because actually that's the thing. The things about when they said about the father, brother, that is actually like your own father. I mean, their son, their daughter is like your own brother and sister. That is what our brother said that just now. If even so, like Ali bin Abi Talib, he can become wali of Fatimah because he was the cousin of the Prophet from the brother of Abdullah. Abdullah and Abu Talib are brother. From Abdullah came Muhammad. From Abu Talib came Ali. You know, they are first cousin. Ali is actually the wali of Fatimah. If Fatimah is not married, he will give away Fatimah to be married. Salam. No. Actually, only that the one of the thing related to marriage. You know, Allah Ta'ala make the Prophet to eat something. To eat something, to drink something. You don't say that all of it is revelation. Things that actually considered as normal behavior as a human, you don't say that is revelation from Allah. Except about Hafsah. First Hafsah. When the Prophet did divorce Hafsah once, then Archangel Gabriel came to him and told the Prophet to take back Hafsah. That is the thing. And secondly, the story about Zainab. Hafsa is daughter of Omar. When the second story is about Zainab binti Jahsh. That Allah Ta'ala mentioned her name. Mention the husband name. Falamma qada Zaidun minha watara. And when Zaid bin Harisah, your adopted son, already doesn't have any connection with her, zawwajnakaha, we married you to her, to Zainab. So Zainab, the Prophet did marry her without any akad. And Zainab always look to the other wives by saying, all of you being married to the Prophet by your brother, your father, your uncle. I am married to the Prophet by Allah from up of the seventh sky, seven heaven. He said, you all being married to the Prophet by your male family. I am married to the Prophet by Allah. Allah Ta'ala said, zawajnakaha. Essentially, in Surah Al-Ahzab 37. You can look into that. In the same ayah that we said just now. So about you say about first cousin in Islam is not forbid. So I actually saw some people, some of the people on northern like Kedah, Penang, Perlis, they actually consider their cousin as their brother and sister. So they ride motorcycle together, and even one time I school a group of sisters when they allowed their cousin's son to sleep at their house, because they said that this is my cousin's son. What is the problem there? See, like, because they consider the cousin, the first cousin, is like they are, the father and the father actually we are like really brothers. So they don't have the boundaries. It's so wrong, because you can marry your cousin, first cousin. You can marry them, because like I said, Ali bin Abi Talib, he is actually the wali of Fatima. If the Prophet died, all the male family there, because Hamzah died. Abbas is the uncle, but the Abbas is from the same father of Abdullah, not the same mother. By Abu Talib and Abdullah have the same father and same mother, mean a full brother. Abdullah with Abbas, half brother. So from the tie related, Abdullah, Abu Talib is considered nearer to Abdullah, to the Prophet, and then Ali is nearer. He can become the sole inheritor of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Even after the Prophet died, after Fatimah died, Ali is considered as the one that taking care. Even the Prophet did say, man kuntu waliyuhu, whoever I am his guardian, then Ali is his guardian. When he says something like that, people wrongly understood that the Prophet is lifting up Ali to become his successor. No, because the Prophet ﷺ, when he died, Ali is the one that taking care of everything. Even if Fatima didn't get married, the Prophet died, Ali is the one will be giving Fatima away. So like I said, there's no such thing as first cousin, because he is the wali. He is also, you cannot marry your wali. This is something like that. It's wrong. It's wrong. Because the cousin will not be haram for you. Even the Prophet ﷺ, when Ja'far is the brother of Ali. When he died, people is actually saying to the Prophet, why wouldn't you take the daughter of Ja'far to become your wife, to take care of them? The Prophet say, cannot, because Ja'far with me is from, we suckle our milk from the same mother. If not mistaken, Suwaibah. Suwaibah give milk to the Prophet and give milk to the Prophet and breastfed Ja'far. So they breastfed from one woman. So if this happened, they become actually brother. So when your brother from your breastfed mother, you cannot marry the children because it's like your own full brother. Whatever things that the Prophet didn't take the daughter of Ja'far, because people proposed to him, why don't you take to become your wife? He said no, because Ja'far is my brother from breastfeeding or susu, ibu susu, brother from breastfeeding, so cannot. So if not, then the Prophet will marry the daughter of Ja'far, like Ali marrying his daughter Fatimah. Because one related to him is actually Ja'far, become his brother, but the Ali is still his cousin. So Ali can marry. So don't have that wrong misconception about a cousin is not cannot be married. No, because sometimes people mingle around, say you riding a motorcycle, sleeping together because this is my brother, it's my sister in the same house. Is your cousin, even your cousin. When I explained that to them, they said, but this guy can be my wali. I said, even though he can be your wali, I told them about the story of Ali, because Ali is really the wali of the Prophet, wali of Fatimah. He can be wali of Fatimah because when a person died, the one that will inherit him, firstly, his parent. So the Prophet doesn't have any parent. Children means that if you have any son, then they will block anybody from coming into your inheritance. If you have son, if you have a daughter or daughters, your family will still come. Your brother, your uncle will still come into your family. So the Prophet doesn't have any son. All his son died. Okay. So imagine the Prophet ﷺ, he doesn't have parent, doesn't have any son. So starting from that point, the uncle, his brother's brother, his father's brother will come into inheritance. If the person cannot come, died, like Abu Talib, then his son. Among the son is Ali. Ali is among the son of Abu Talib. He can become the inheritor, sole inheritor of the Prophet. And the same as become the wali of Fatimah. So careful about that. So anyway, yeah, also, yeah. If you suckle from, you breastfed from a woman, anybody breastfed from that woman will become your brother and your sister. And the woman's children become your brother and your sister. No, only just about for marrying. You are not permissible to marry each other. Not faraid, no. You don't. They don't inherit you. They don't inherit you. Because the Prophet Sallam did say to us, yuhram min rada'ati ma yuhram nasabi, will become forbidden to be married because of breastfeeding, whatever is forbidden in your lineage. Whoever is actually you cannot marry within your lineage, your sister, your nephew, your niece, your auntie, your brother's father, your father's sister, your mother's sister, your grandfather's sister, you cannot marry them. The same happen when you breastfeed with a woman. Means that she is forbid upon you. Her children, her sisters, her mother, her father's mother, all of them is actually forbid upon you. You become like as if that is actually she is your mother. So it cannot happen. That's why when people talking about want to do a bank of milk, breast milk bank, they want to gather because they say that cow's milk is for the cow, goat milk is for the goat, human milk for the human. So when they think about that, they would want something about that bank. So many women can contribute or being paid to get their milk to be consumed by the infant. The problem is people, when you mix that, all people will become forbid to be married to each other. You know, if if this country, this Selangor state, having their children being getting their milk from that bank, then all of them will become forbid to marry each other. You can only marry people from outside of Selangor. Can you imagine what will happen? Because people thought about that. I don't know what happened. Because at the time of Prophet Sallam, the milk of the cow is being drank. The milk of the goat is being drank. The milk of the camel is being drank. Nobody is saying about that. But in our time, some research, so-called research being done, suddenly people say, no, you don't drink the milk of the cow, because the milk of the cow is for the cow. The milk of the goat is for the goat. There's some movement these days. I see a few years lately, I saw people actually start to say that, even they said the meat is not for you, not good for you to eat the meat, because the meat have blood and will make you many sickness. They have that ideas. I don't know where they took it. They took the ideas, but actually that is one thing that is actually not from Islam. From Islam point, everything being created for you, consume it. Don't over consume. Don't make any waste about that. Don't waste anything about that. Then it's okay. It's not. You cannot say that no. Don't eat. don't eat. Just eat vegetable. No. Allahu alam. Some people like actually vegan or vegetarian. They get the vegan is actually good because you're not eating milk, meat, and you are not eating any alive creatures. It's good for you. But like I saw in the debate between Dr. Zakir Naik and one of the pandit of Hindus pandit. So in that discussion, that debate, the pandit said, "You are what you eat. You are what you eat. When you eat the cow, you become the cow. You eat the chicken, you become chicken." So Dr. Zakir Naik answered back. He said, "If you are what you eat, and eating animals, permissible animal in Islam is good. Why? Because when you eat cow, you become like cow. Means that you can have a community. You can see that the permissible animal in Islam is actually always sitting in group. You know, go in group. The sheep, the camel, the cow, the chicken. You know, they always in the group. So you can be a people person. You can mingle with others because you become like cow. So, and if you are what you eat, eating vegetable is actually, plant is actually dangerous. He said, why? Because, you know, in the plant kingdom, no two plant is helping each other to survive. All plant essentially will take over the other one whenever they get the opportunity. You know, like the big tree. They don't open the shade, the sun, the light for the small tree to grow. Or you can see something like, no. Even the tree is actually competing each other. Always competing each other. So then he mentioned a name. You say like Hitler. He's a vegan. Hitler is a vegan. He doesn't eat meat. So you know the character. What is the character? Always thinking about himself, not thinking about others. So eating animal is better. If you are what you eat, eating animal is good, not bad. So he said some of it being said by the Zakir Naik. So anyway, back to the topic. So our ayah that we took just now, relating to the Prophet Sallam, doesn't have any bodyguard at the last after sometimes, because before that, because we are talking about the best among their youth constantly had sword hanging menacingly over their head. So like I said, this happened before, when we know about when they migrate to Medina, they being permissible by Allah, be give permission by Allah to have war, to fight back. Like I said in Surah Al-Baqarah, verse number 191. Faman i'tada alaikum fa'tadu alayhi mithla i'tada alaikum. Whoever doing something to you, bad to you, then do back, return back to them. So actually because of that, we know that that is a Medina era. So when we say about the Prophet Sallam doesn't have any bodyguard, we recite Suratul Ma'idah just now. Fama balagta. Ma'idah 67. The first part, when I recite 67, the first part is actually Ya ayyuhar Rasul, O Prophet, O Messenger of Allah, balligh ma unzila ilayka min rabbik. Convey whatever being sent down to you by your Lord. Wa illam taf'al, if you don't do that, fama ballaghta risalatah, you are considered didn't convey any messages of Allah. This ayah, the first part, I said, is one of the discipline that when you look into the teaching of Islam, you cannot say that the Prophet kept something from us or kept something for Abu Bakar, not giving away. Because the Prophet doesn't have that privilege. He cannot keep secret anything. Even actually sometimes the verse is really will provoke the non-believers. You know, like the Prophet ﷺ, when you see he actually start to convey the message in Mecca, he doesn't start about telling people to do good, because the people of Mecca, they actually descendant of Ishmael, knowing about Kaabah, Abraham. They actually have the relationship. They are children of Ishmael. So when the Prophet came to them, start to convey the message publicly, you know, the Prophet went up to the hill of Safa. The hill of Safa, the one that they block with the rail there. The Prophet came onto it, and imagine that in Mecca at that time, no such wall and building. They only the Kaaba, the hill is there. So the Prophet shout, calling people of Mecca to come to him. After they gathered, whoever cannot come, send his somebody to listen to the Prophet. So they know the Prophet. So the Prophet called them, Ya Sabaha, they came. And the Prophet said to them, if I told you that they are horses, then the horses is coming to attack you tomorrow, what will you say? Because the Mecca is like a valley. Around it, all the mountains there. So he said, if I said that behind this are horses, horses want to attack you, what will you say? They said, Ma jarrabna alayka kadhiban. We didn't test that you lie even once. Not even once you lie. So the Prophet start to say, so this message is really like irritating some people by saying, Fa inni nadhirul lakum bayna yaday adhabin shadid. If that's so, then I am your warner. I am a warner for all of you before the great torment that coming to you. You know, the first thing that he said about torment, what didn't he say about the paradise? There are birds, there are trees, there are rivers. He start to say something like that. In our time, we say that, why does he poking those people? You know, the torment is there. People, Allah will punish you. He start talking with that topic. Even Ahmad did that once, one of his lectures, when preparation of debating with one of the priests, Arab priests. So in Dubai, so he was talking to the group. He said, if all of you, maybe because some people he criticizing him, some people doesn't like the way he debate, but he actually debating the people that want to debate him. He doesn't just go and debate anybody, but he call them, come, if the person accept, then he start to debate them. Anyway, he said that if all of you become the follower of the Prophet, you will surely be something like this. Because he is doing that, but people is really criticizing him. It's like thing like this. You know, when the Prophet ﷺ went to Medina, come to Medina, migrate to Medina, the first surah being sent down is Surah Al-Baqarah. If you look into Surah Al-Baqarah, 286 ayah, first half of the surah, from ayah number 40 until 163, 62, 40 until 162, the first part, first story of, first topic of the Surah Al-Baqarah is telling us about the failure of the Jew, the children of Israel, their failure to become the caliphs of Allah. Because the first story, if you see, really look into it, until from 39, Allah Ta'ala told us about the story of Adam. Inni ja'ilun fil ardi khalifah. So after the first 40, suddenly the ayah turned into saying, Ya Bani Israel adhkuru ni'mati. You know, people say that, why? You're telling about Adam, suddenly about the Israelites. The Israelites, or the Bani Israel, the Jew, they actually are being given by Allah opportunity to become the rulers of all this world. With the revelation, the prophethood being sent one after another, but they fail. So if you look into that, the verse 40 until 162 is telling us what are their failure, what their stand with Moses, what did they do with Muhammad, Allah Ta'ala is actually recollecting about that. You know, when the Prophet ﷺ migrated to Medina, this is the first surah. Can you imagine what people will say if they are like us? Ahmad said, you know, in Mecca, you fighting with the mushrikin. Now we come to Medina, it's so peaceful. Why should you poke around? You know, you're poking the Jew. There you're poking the mushrikin, the Quraysh. Here, you are talking about them. Why? Ahmad said, maybe if we are the followers of Prophet ﷺ in Medina, we say, oh, Prophet Allah, oh, it's so tiring. We fight them with people in Mecca because whatever we recite from the Quran, telling what is the true God, they are not accepting that. We are fighting with them. Now we migrate to Medina, and we have the Jew there, and suddenly you poke them. Why? Can we live in peaceful harmony? But the Prophet cannot stop that. You know, he cannot stop any revelation Allah sent to him to recite to the people. He cannot stop. If he can stop, then we can see that he's stopping this ayah, this ayah, this ayah. But he cannot stop anything. He cannot stop anything. He must recite the ayah, even though people will start to hate him. Like the story of Isra and Mi'raj. He came back from Isra and Mi'raj. He told his wife that he came back just now from Baitul Maqdis, from receiving the salah from Allah, up higher than the seventh sky. You know, his wife said to him that if you tell people about this, they will surely start to say something to you. But the Prophet cannot stop. That's why the ayah of 67 Ma'idah that just now we read, that the Prophet being told by Allah, if you don't convey whatever we send down to you, you are not really conveying any message. Considered as you are not doing your work. And then Allah said after that, Wallahu ya'simuka minan nas. Don't be afraid of them. Don't be afraid of them. Because Allah is the one that protecting you from all the people. The Prophet, after this ayah sent down to him, he sent away all his bodyguard. People who want to guard him, he said, go away. Allah is protecting me. Allah is protecting me. Because they are so afraid that somebody will come and try to kill the Prophet. So the companion is continuously taking rotation to guard the Prophet until this ayah being sent down. So the Prophet put out his head from his tent. He said, oh, all people, go away. Allah is protecting me from that ayah Ma'idah 67. That's actually related to what when you say that all of them is actually carrying sword. Yes, at that time, because of the fear of the non-believers attacking them. Their men move forward lightly across the battlefield, advancing to death as if they were upon an execution or holiday. You know, when Allah Ta'ala prescribed for them, give them command to go to war. Udhina lilladhina amanu bi'annahum qutilu. They've been given permission by Allah to go to war because they actually being stomped around, killed around by the non-believers. And Allah Ta'ala about helping them really can. Allah will help them. So because of that ayah, then start the Prophet Sallam, from the second year of Hijrah, during the war of Badr, the Prophet called his companion to go to war. That is the thing. Then the problem is when they are going to the war, they actually going to the war quickly and actually going to death, but like going to holiday. Something actually what happened to the soldier that went to Iraq, to Afghanistan. Most of them coming back with their mind is actually so sick. They traumatized and cannot be a normal person anymore. In Islam, I know some people actually being known before during the war of Soviet with Afghanistan. Some of them are our teachers. Our teachers actually teaching us the religion. They actually so calm. Never ever said, "Oh, come to kill. Come, get gun, get sword." No, never ever. They went there because they want to please Allah. Because of they want to please Allah, not because they are gloating. I am the one who are brave. And by killing people there, essentially you will traumatize. But because of the thing is being done, because of the belief by Allah, then nobody come back from the war crazy. You can see that this thing that happening even in United States of America until today. But this day actually is something that the shooting on the university, the school, something is actually they didn't think about that. Before that, there are some people from among the soldiers coming back from the war, still thinking they are still in the war. They're traumatized. Because they are going there by force. Coming back, they are really not in happy state. But like the companion of the Prophet, they went to the war like holiday. You know, they are really want to die. They are wearing all the things. They don't neglect about their safety. They bring with them their armory, their sword, their shield. They are using all of it. But they actually really love for them to become a martyr at that war and happy to be there. Not feel that they are being forced to be on that battlefield. So they go on there and actually for the simple reason that they love him unconditionally. The reason is they love the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. They love Allah. That is the real thing. Maybe some people say that, Ustaz, this time, in this our time, maybe it's not the best thing to say about war. You know, war is crime. War is actually should be considered as crime. You know, our speech like this is just being said to the Muslim. You don't say to the non-believers, those who doesn't have that Russia right now waging war to Ukraine. Can anybody say to them something about it is a war, it's not good? Will they listen? At least for us to have protection, to protect ourselves from the attack. That is actually something that we have to prepare. Even though you don't like it. Because not people, all people is actually peaceful people. Not all people will just when thinking about you and other, they say that, oh, you cannot do that. It's forbidden. No people, not all people is like that. Because of that, you know that even the law, our law, or civil law, not Islamic law, they have that stages of or range of punishment for those who do crime. even though you can forgive them. Why should you do the punishment to those who do crime? It's because to stop them or to stop others from doing the same thing. It's the same as protection for the Muslim, to have people ready to go to war to protect themselves. At least for that. Even though they said that war is crime, but until today nobody is being held responsible for any killing of Muslim. Nobody care about Muslim being killed. You don't kill an American, they will come to you with all their cavalry. But don't care about killing any Muslim. Whatever happened in Rohingya, whatever happened in Syria, in Iraq. It's actually if the nation, the Muslim nation, have their own army to stop, at least to stop, like the Malbat Malaysia battalion. They're being sent to Bosnia and everything to stop people from fighting. At least they should have their own. The Muslim country should have their own army to stop things like that. So that people know that we have. You know, when you give away your daughter, you become the wali. You know why the wali is there? So that the man that marry your daughter know that anything happen to my daughter, I will come. Not just like that. Not just like letting go. I don't care. I will not interfere. Because of that, these days, many of the parents, they didn't know. That is right. That is why the man family have to come to the woman family and to ask the hand of their daughter, officially, to make sure that it is actually between the family. And the man will know that anything happen to the daughter, the family will come to take justice for their daughter. But when we didn't think really about this, so people essentially this thing that happening about the actually abuse upon wives, upon women, is really because nobody is protecting them. And some people, women say that I'm independent, but the problem is when this happen, the one that will be abused is the woman, not the man. So the same happened like this when the Muslim nation have their own army, have their own protection. Then people will think twice to do something to the Muslim people. It's the same like being done right now by American. They have all the thing, so you cannot you don't do anything to us. Anything will come to you. So the thing is protection. Basic is actually protection for our own Muslim brothers and sisters. It's not about to wage war, no, to protect your own self. Because people will look down onto you when you don't have any preparation. They don't have anything. Don't feel afraid. So the companion is going to the war. It's like that. And you cannot deny that the Prophet did go into the war. And even the companion said, when the war become in the heat of the war, we actually protected by the back of the Prophet ﷺ. We make the Prophet as our shield. He become the first one on the battlefield. It's not like our others leader. Others like today, the leaders will always run away, fly away. The Prophet ﷺ, he actually the first the front line. Yeah, the companion said, "Idha hamil watis kunna idha hamil watis." We, when the war becomes so heated, we actually shielding ourselves with the Prophet ﷺ. Ittaqaina bi Rasulillah. He become the first one because actually the Prophet is like that. He didn't go back. Even like I said just now, when he want to migrate to Medina, he is one among the last. After all his companion already go to Medina, he become one of the last. That's why when he went out, the people of Mecca chased him because he is going out from Mecca during Safar, during the month of Safar, not during Muharram, not during Zulhijjah. So they chase him because he is going out on the month of they can kill anybody. So that's the thing you have to understand. Because sometimes the saying about the war, people will say that it's not good, Ustaz, to say something like that. War will encourage. But that is part of the religion. It's about to have dignity and protection for your for your country, for yourself. That's why Malaysia also, we have army. All nations have their own army. Why? To protect their dignity. Okay? Allah Ta'ala said in the Surah An-Nisa, Allah Ta'ala said, verse number 75. Verse number 75, Allah Ta'ala said, وَمَا لَكُمْ لَا تُقَاتِلُونَ فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ. And what is the matter with you that you fight not in the cause of Allah, not in the way of Allah, you don't fight. وَالْمُسْتَضْعَفِينَ مِنَ الرِّجَالِ وَالنِّسَاءِ وَالْوِلْدَانِ. For the oppressed among men, women and children who say, يَقُولُونَ رَبَّنَا أَخْرِجْنَا مِنْ هَذِهِ الْقَرْيَةِ الظَّالِمِ أَهْلُهَا. Oh our Lord, take us out of this city of oppressive people and appoint us. وَجَعَلْ لَنَا مِنْ لَدُنْكَ وَلِيًّا وَجَعَلْ لَنَا مِنْ لَدُنْكَ نَصِيرًا. And appoint for us from yourself a protector, and appoint for us from yourself a helper. Why? I want to ask you, why don't you go to war? By the time those people, oppressed people from among the men, the women and the children, they are saying to Allah, they are asking from Allah, Rabbana akhrijna, take us out from this village that is actually oppressive men among the oppressed people is actually there, and make a point for us. Waja'alna min ladunka waliyan, a protector. Give us a protector from you. Appoint for us a protector. Waja'alna min ladunka nasira, and appoint for us a helper. So Allah Ta'ala said to us, why? Why don't you go? And we actually waiting, I don't know, go to nasi lemak and kopi teh tarik. You know, Allah Ta'ala is asking you. Yes, I know. That's the thing. Then the leaders being asked by Allah, Allah Ta'ala will ask them, why didn't you go? Because in Islam, always, the war will only be done by the government. The government will call for that. That, you know, when calling for the Eid, for the beginning of Ramadan, that's the right of the government. You don't start doing. Inshallah, we Al-Qadim, we will make a decision. Inshallah, our Ramadan will be in this date. After discussion, no, you cannot announce. The announcement must be from the government. And also to wage war, to lift up the flag of war is also upon the government. To cut the hand, also theft, to steal others people belonging, also upon the government. To lash upon the fornicator, to do everything, to kill those who kill, also upon the government. Anyway, the question is there. You know, the question from Allah, why don't you, what is the matter with you? You don't go to the war in the way of Allah. Even though there are people, the oppressed people, the weak people from among the men, women and children, they are saying, Rabbana, oh our Lord, akhrijna min hadil qaryati zalimi ahluha. Take us out from this oppressive people, the village of oppressive people. Waj'alna min ladunka waliyan, make for us, oh Allah, from you, from your side, a guardian. Waj'alna min ladunka nasira, make for us, oh Allah, from your side, a helper. They are asking that. They are asking us. You know, they are asking Allah. Allah is asking us, why? Why didn't you do anything? So the thing is actually the understanding of Islam. Because Islam is not just prayer, fasting, Hajj, and paying alms. No. It's also a nation. Islam is a country, a nation. Because of that, you don't look into Islam just as narrow about the act of worship. Because everything is the act of worship. Then Allah Ta'ala want you to govern your country, your people, yourself, with the way of Allah. That's why Islam is actually not just something inside the mosque. You know, inside the mosque. It's actually inside your house, inside your parliament, inside your country, inside your army base. Islam is there all the way, not just for few places only. Okay. Okay, simple reason they said that why that the companion prophet have that really light way to go to war is because they actually love him unconditionally. Because of that, they willingly to give everything for the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That is really the reason. Only that's the thing, that bliss, the happiness for them is on that. Even though if you look into their life, the life of the companion prophet, poverty, no, poverty doesn't have anything weak, and but they actually living, loving the prophet, really loving him, making that the love, making them to be happy, happy. Everything being done to them, they happy because they love the prophet. And when the prophet told them to do something, even though it's hard for them to do it, because they don't want to go to the war. Like being said in Surah Al-Baqarah, verse number 216. 216 Surah Al-Baqarah. 216 Al-Baqarah, Allah said, Kutiba alaikumul qital wa huwa kuruhul lakum. It's being ordained by Allah to go to war, but it is disliked by you. You don't like it. You don't like to go to war, but it's being prescribed by Allah for you. Allah Ta'ala already told you to go to war. Kutiba alaikumul qital wa huwa kurhul lakum. They actually, be known, they don't want to go to war, but Allah Ta'ala told them. But in the end, they love to follow whatever being told to them. Alhamdulillah. So inshallah we stop there. We continue. Inshallah, we will continue next week. 16. Okay, we stop there. Inshallah. Still about the bliss of the companion of the Prophet. Okay. Any question? Yes. Assalamualaikum. Okay.
Sorry. Yeah. How do we treat someone, a family member, who is living abroad and has become murtad? Do we consider them still family? Do we maintain a relationship?
Okay.
That's question one. Second question is, I know that it's good to give zakat to family members who are asnaf, but what happens if your family members practice some things like, they gamble or, things like that? Do you still give zakat to such family members?
Okay, first question is about if one of your family members become murtad in leave Islam, what do you consider them? They're still your family. It's not being thrown away. If you look into that, Allah Ta'ala said in the Quran about your parent, such things you don't understand about your parent in Surah Al-Isra, in Surah Al-Kahfi. In Surah Al-Kahfi, Allah Ta'ala said about your parent. Wa in jahadaka Surah Luqman verse 15. Luqman 15. Isra 15 Luqman. Allah Ta'ala said about your parent. Allah Ta'ala wa in jahadaka, and if both of them, your father and your mother, force you an tushrika bi, to make associate with me, ma laysa laka bihi ilm, whatever that is actually you don't have any knowledge about it. Fala tuti'huma, don't you obey them. But at the same time, wasahibhuma fid dunya ma'rufa, but be friend with them, accompany them in this world with the good manner. It's actually something that the family tie is there, but you know the rights of the Muslim, they will not get. They will not get for you to pray for them if they die as a non-Muslim. You don't pray for them. You don't ask forgiveness for them. That is still, they don't inherit you. You don't inherit them. That is the ruling. But about the situation, because like we know the Prophet ﷺ, when he married Habibah. Habibah is the daughter of Abu Sufyan. Abu Sufyan is the enemy of the Prophet. So what do you think about Ummu Habibah thinking about her father? No, actually her father is still her father. Even we know that the Asma bint Abi Bakr, she did have something about her mother when after the 6th year of Hijrah, after there's a truth between the people of Mecca with the people of Medina, the Muslim and the non-believers. So people start to come to Medina from among to see their own family. You know, they didn't see them almost 5 to 6 years after migration. So suddenly, the 7th year, the mother of Asma came to meet her, to give with present. But Asma told her mother, "Don't enter my house. Don't enter my house. Wait." And then she went to the Prophet and said to the Prophet, "Oh Prophet Allah, Inna Ummi atat." And until my mother came, she is actually a non-believer. Actually, do associate with Allah. She want to make to retie her relationship with me. Do I have to accept that? Do I have to accept the tie that she want to connect with me? The Prophet said, "Siliha, connect your tie with her. Don't cut off." Because sometimes, actually, that is the way you dislike their option, but you know that Allah Ta'ala is most knowing. Maybe after sometimes, maybe after you treat them well, and they think back about what happened in their lives, maybe they will return back. If you cut off like that, then they will always find the non-believers or the wrong people to be with, because you actually most knowing about them. Even actually, I saw a documentary about a person, a doctor, a PhD doctor from Palestine, went to Canada. He become atheist, leave out the religion totally. But suddenly, during his life, he returned back to Islam after listening one of the verse of Al-Quran. Just one verse of Al-Quran, returning back him to Islam. So the way you treat them, like Allah Ta'ala said in the Quran, you dislike that person, but you should not do bad to them. Because Allah Ta'ala said in the Quran, in many ayah, such as in the Surah Al-Fusilat, verse number 34, 36, Allah Ta'ala said, "Wala tastawil hasanatu wa sayyah." It is not the same if you repay a person with bad thing or repay with a good thing. It's not the same. Allah Ta'ala said, "Idfa billati hiya ahsan." Repay them with the goodness. Repay with the goodness. Wa idzal fa idzal ladzi bainaka wa bainahu adawatun. If you do that, then suddenly the person between you and him has animosity. You know, they become an enemy with you. If you do that, always doing good, he actually will become ka'annahu waliyun hamim. He become a best, warm-hearted protector for you. Suddenly will become like that. And but thing is actually so hard. So you angry, the anger you have, making you don't want to do good to them. But Allah said, "Wama yulaqaha illa alladhina sabaru." But actually you cannot do this thing except those who actually have the passion. "Wama yulaqaha illa dhu hadhin azim." Nobody then cannot do what being prescribed by Allah, told by Allah in this ayah, except those who have great portion of the last day. Because this heart, yes, you know, you angry with them, but should not cut off the ties. Only that they will not inherit you, you not inherit them. If they die, you don't pray upon their body. You don't ask forgiveness from Allah for them. But from the tie of a relationship, the blood ties is not cut off. It's not cut off. So you don't stop like that. The second one is actually about zakat. Okay, about the zakat. If you know that actually, yes, a woman can give anybody. For a man, those who under his protection or under his suspenses, he cannot give them. Like a man cannot give his wife, his parent, his children. Okay, a man cannot give zakat to his parent, his children, his wife, or his spouse. But a woman can give anybody, because a woman is not obligated to spend upon anybody, so she can give anybody. But about when you say about the person, if you know that the person will use the money wrongly, then you should just give them the food. You buy the food and give them. So it stop them to, you cannot gamble with the rice. They cannot go to the gambling place. I want to, they have to use money. So if you give them the money, they have all the freedom to use it to gamble or everything. But if you give the food, then they cannot do that. So inshallah, it's like that. And about not giving all the way is not really right. Not giving all the way. Like I said, always try to search for the way for the money to be used correctly. Like if you give to the husband will do something with it. So give the wife. Give the wife. So they say that this is for the expenses of your family, or anybody inside the family. Or if the father is like that, then you give to the son of the family that can give the money correctly being used. So there is the saying of the Prophet ﷺ about the perfectness of iman. The Prophet ﷺ said, "Man ahabba lillah," whoever giving because of Allah. Man ahabba lillah, whoever is loving because of Allah, loving because of Allah. Wa sakhita lillah, and hate because of Allah. Wa a'ta lillah, giving because of Allah. Wa mana'a lillah, and don't give because of Allah. Faqad istakmal al-iman, then he actually has perfect his iman. His iman become perfect, because giving, loving, hating, not giving because of Allah is one of the way for you to perfecting your iman. But that topic is actually about your intention of giving, intention of stopping to give. You can say that actually I want to give him because that, but the means is still there, because the person maybe if you give the money, it will be like that. But if you pay for the house, pay the rent of the house. It's been done by the zakat authority in Malaysia. Somebody told me that if the poor person actually having problem, so likewise they will pay for the whole year for the house rent of that person, that family. They will not give the money. They will pay. And about the food, they will give the food. Because some of the family is like that. The husband or the father of the family, he actually cannot use the money correctly. You give something them, he buy a motorbike, big motorbike. you give something that actually they wrongly use. So they're giving the means, what they need. Food, we give food. What they need, the rent, we give rent. So you don't give the money just like that. Because you know that if wrongly being used, then all the money that you give to him will become waste by that person. So inshallah give, but search the means that they're still making the money beneficial for them. Don't stop at all. Because sometimes when you stop at all, they will start to not having any income. We're afraid that when they will do the crime, they will start to do crime after that. So helping them can stopping them, but by wisdom, not just by stopping, because sometimes actually not affecting him, affecting the family. Okay, Alhamdulillah. So we stop here, inshallah. We continue next week. Wallahu a'lam. Wa sallallahu ala Muhammadin wa sallam. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Subhanakallahumma bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.